Emily Carson stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Prometheus, her fingers trembling against the cold metal railing. The stars that had once filled her with wonder now seemed cold and hostile. Behind her, Erling Hansen, the ship's security chief, watched the holographic transmission with a jaw clenched so tight his teeth ached. The Galactic Council's proclamation echoed through every human colony, every ship, every outpost scattered across the cosmos. Humanity, they declared, was now property of the Zintharian Empire. 7 billion souls on Earth, another 3 billion spread across the colonies, all reduced to chattel with a single vote. "They can't do this," Emily whispered, her voice barely audible over the hum of the ship's engines. Erling's Nordic features hardened into something ancient and dangerous. They just did. The Zintharians had made their case with cold efficiency. Humanity was young, aggressive, and according to their twisted logic, needed proper guidance. The Council, composed of 12 elder species, had agreed. Humanity's protests were dismissed, their pleas for diplomatic resolution ignored. The galaxy had spoken, and Earth was expected to comply. What the galaxy didn't understand was that humanity had a very particular response to chains. Emily turned from the viewport, her brown eyes now burning with something the galaxy would soon learn to fear. "Get me a channel to Earth. All military frequencies. Every colony. Every ship." "Emily," Erling started. "Do it," she commanded, her voice carrying an authority that surprised even herself. As the lead xenoanthropologist on the Prometheus, she'd spent 5 years studying alien cultures. She knew their histories, their wars, their triumphs, and she knew their greatest weakness. They'd forgotten how to fight like cornered animals. Within hours, Earth responded. Not with submission, but with silence, the kind of silence that precedes a storm. Admiral Chen's face appeared on screens across human space. "They want slaves," she said, her voice calm and measured. "Then let's show them what humanity does to slavers." The Zintharian fleet arrived at Earth's orbit 3 days later, expecting capitulation. They found warships, thousands of them. Humanity had converted every vessel capable of mounting weapons. Civilian transports became missile platforms. Mining ships carried nuclear payloads. The Prometheus itself bristled with newly installed railguns. Erling stood beside Emily in the Combat Information Center, his hand resting on the shoulder of a young ensign who couldn't be more than 19. "Remember," he told her gently, "we're not fighting for conquest. We're fighting for the right to be free." The first Zintharian commander made the fatal mistake of sending a surrender demand. Emily personally crafted humanity's response, a single word that became legendary across the galaxy. No, the battle that followed wasn't warfare as the galaxy understood it. The elder species fought with precision, with honor, with rules established over millennia. Humanity fought like demons defending their home. They rammed ships when ammunition ran out. They sacrificed themselves to protect others. They turned every piece of technology, every resource, every scrap of ingenuity into a weapon. Emily coordinated strikes from the Prometheus, her knowledge of alien psychology becoming humanity's greatest tactical advantage. She knew the Zintharians valued hierarchy above all else, so humanity targeted their command ships first, decapitating their fleet. She knew they relied on quantum communication, so humanity jammed them, turning their organized armada into chaos. Erling led boarding parties onto disabled Zintharian vessels, not to kill, but to broadcast. He made sure every alien species saw what happened when you tried to enslave humanity. He made sure they heard the screams, witnessed the fury, understood the cost. The Battle of Earth lasted 48 hours. When it ended, the Zintharian fleet was scattered debris orbiting a planet that refused to kneel. But humanity wasn't finished. "They declared us slaves," Emily said during the Emergency War Council. "That means every species that voted yes is complicit. Every world that stood silent is guilty." Admiral Chen nodded grimly. "Then we take the fight to them." What followed was unprecedented in galactic history. Humanity didn't just defend, they attacked. Colony worlds that had watched Earth's enslavement with indifference woke to human fleets in their skies, not to conquer, but to remind. Trading posts were shut down, diplomatic channels severed. Every species that had participated in humanity's subjugation found their own systems blockaded by the very primitives they'd tried to enslave. The Galactic Council convened in emergency session, their chambers filled with panic. The elder species had never encountered resistance like this. Humanity fought with a desperation and creativity that defied all their models, all their predictions. Erling and Emily stood together on the bridge of the Prometheus as it joined the human armada, surrounding the Council's homeworld. No shots were fired. None were needed. The message was clear: attempt to enslave humanity again, and the galaxy would burn. The Council's representative, a crystalline being named Threshold of Stars, appeared on screen. "What do you want?" it asked, its translated voice carrying notes of genuine fear. Emily stepped forward, her exhaustion hidden behind steely resolve. Recognition, not as property, not as children, but as equals, and a promise written in every language, broadcast to every world that humanity will never be threatened with chains again. "And if we refuse?" Threshold of Stars asked. Erling smiled, the expression cold enough to freeze stars. "Then you'll learn what extinct means." The treaty was signed within a week. Humanity didn't just win their freedom, they rewrote the galactic order. Species that had existed for millions of years found themselves negotiating with apes, who'd only reached the stars a century ago. And they did so with respect, because they'd learned the cost of the alternative. Years later, Emily and Erling stood together on Earth, watching the sunset over a world that had defied an empire and survived. The galaxy had declared humanity slaves. Humanity had declared that unacceptable, and the galaxy had learned to listen. "Do you think they'll try again?" Erling asked quietly. Emily shook her head, a slight smile playing at her lips. "They're not that stupid. They learned what we've always known: you can't cage the human spirit. You can only make it angry." Somewhere in the cosmic dark, the elder species watched and remembered. The day they'd tried to enslave humanity. The day they'd learned that some fires burn too bright to ever be extinguished.